Living in a safe and secure environment is a top priority for many people around the world. Unfortunately, there are some countries that are considered much less safe and stable than others. In this video, we'll be taking a look at 15 countries that are generally not recommended as safe places to live due to factors like political instability, high crime rates, conflict, and human rights abuses. While the security situation can vary greatly within a country, these nations have earned reputations as some of the most dangerous places to call home. We'll explore the key reasons why these 15 countries made our list of the least safe places to live in the world. Number 15. Colombia. Colombia, located in South America, captivates with its diverse landscapes, from the lush Amazon rainforest to the pristine beaches of the Caribbean coast. But with a murder rate of around 25 per 100,000 people, the country has one of the highest homicide rates in the world. Carjackings, armed robberies, kidnappings, and even acts of gang-related violence are all too common, especially in major cities like Bogotá, Medellin, and Cali. Main concerns for those considering living in Colombia has been the ongoing threat of drug-related violence and organized crime. The country's history with powerful drug cartels and guerrilla groups has left a legacy of instability and insecurity in certain regions. There have been instances of armed conflict and violence, though the country has made significant strides in recent years toward peace and stability. To live safely in Colombia, consider using trusted transportation services like registered taxis or ride-sharing apps instead of hailing cabs on the street. When exploring, keep your belongings secure and avoid flashy displays of wealth, like expensive jewelry or electronics. Opt for accommodations in neighborhoods with reputable security measures. Number 14. Brazil. Brazil unfortunately has a reputation as one of the most dangerous countries in the world, making it a risky choice for those seeking a secure place to call home. With a staggering murder rate of over 30 people per 100,000, violent crime is rampant, especially in major cities like Rio de Janeiro and São Paulo. Armed robberies, carjackings, and even kidnappings are all too common occurrences. The high levels of income inequality, gang activity, and police corruption that plague many Brazilian communities have fueled this widespread lawlessness. Crimes often target both locals and foreigners, with even affluent neighborhoods not immune from the threat of violence. Women face heightened risks, with sexual assaults and harassment being major problems. If you're considering a move to Brazil, extreme caution is advised. Avoid traveling alone, especially at night. Keep valuables hidden and be vigilant in crowded public spaces. Stick to main roads and tourist areas when possible. Hire trusted private security if you can. While parts of Brazil can be safe with the right measures, the country's reputation for danger is undoubtedly well earned. It's a risk that many may simply not be willing to take. Number 13. Venezuela. With a population of over 28 million people, Venezuela is a country located on the northern coast of South America that has unfortunately become one of the most dangerous places to call home in recent years. With a sky-high murder rate of over 60 people per 100,000 residents, violent crime is rampant throughout the country, especially in major cities like Caracas. In fact, some reports suggest that Caracas has one of the highest murder rates in the world. Carjackings, armed robberies, and kidnappings are all too common, posing a serious threat to both locals and tourists alike. The economic and political instability in Venezuela has fueled this surge in criminal activity, as the country grapples with hyperinflation, shortages of food and medicine, and a repressive authoritarian government. Protests against the regime often turn violent, with security forces cracking down harshly on demonstrators. It's advisable to avoid displaying wealth in public and to be cautious when using ATMs. Traveling in well-lit and populated areas, especially at night, can also help minimize risks. Additionally, staying informed about local safety advisories and heeding the advice of authorities can go a long way in ensuring your safety. Number 12. India. India, a vibrant and diverse country with a population of over 1.3 billion people. It has a reputation for sometimes being an unsafe place to call home, especially for foreigners. With a high crime rate, including frequent incidents of violent assault, robberies, and sexual crimes, personal security is a real concern in many parts of the nation. The murder rate in India stands at around 3.2 per 100,000 people, but certain regions, like Uttar Pradesh and Madhya Pradesh, have significantly higher levels of homicides and other violent crimes. Women, in particular, face heightened risks, with India ranking as one of the most dangerous countries in the world for female travelers due to issues like sexual harassment and human trafficking. If you're thinking of relocating to India, it's crucial to take extensive precautions. Avoid isolated or poorly lit areas, especially at night. Use only licensed and verified transportation services, and consider hiring a personal security detail if possible. Keep a close eye on your belongings in crowded public spaces, as pickpocketing is common. Number 11. Argentina. Bienvenidos a Argentina. This South American gem is known for its passionate tango, delicious cuisine, and stunning landscapes, but with a homicide rate of around 5.5 per 100,000 people, violent crime is a significant concern, particularly in the larger cities like Buenos Aires. Robberies, muggings, and carjackings are all too common, often occurring in broad daylight and even in tourist-heavy areas. Petty theft like pickpocketing is also rampant, so you have to keep a close eye on your belongings at all times. The economic instability and high levels of poverty in parts of Argentina have fueled much of this criminal activity. It's important to stay aware and vigilant in safeguarding your valuables, especially when using ATMs or carrying large amounts of cash. Additionally, I recommend conducting thorough research to choose a secure neighborhood, ensuring that all necessary security measures are taken seriously. Number 10. Peru. Peru, a country renowned for its ancient ruins, stunning landscapes, and vibrant cultural heritage, with a population of over 33 million people. With a homicide rate of around 7 per 100,000 people, violent crime is a serious issue, especially in larger cities like Lima. Robberies, muggings, and carjackings targeting both locals and foreigners are unfortunately common occurrences. The roots of Peru's crime problem can be traced to economic inequality, political instability, and the presence of drug trafficking organizations and terrorist groups like the Shining Path in some regions. Certain areas of the country, particularly near the borders, are considered high risk due to these groups' activities. In Peru, ensuring your safety begins with mindfulness. Avoid drawing attention to your valuables, opt for trusted modes of transportation, and select secure neighborhoods for accommodation. When using ATMs, exercise caution by choosing machines in well-trafficked areas and remaining vigilant of your surroundings. Number 9. Nigeria. Nigeria, situated in West Africa, is a land of contrasts, with bustling cities, serene countryside, and vibrant communities. However, alongside its cultural richness, Nigeria does face safety concerns that residents and visitors should be aware of. With a murder rate of around 20 per 100,000 people, violent crimes like robbery, kidnapping, and carjacking are all too common, especially in major cities like Lagos and Abuja. The underlying causes of this lawlessness include economic inequality, corruption within the government and security forces, and the presence of militant groups like Boko Haram in the northern regions. Foreigners and wealthy Nigerians are often specifically targeted by criminal gangs. Women face an elevated risk of sexual assault and harassment. If you're considering relocating to Nigeria, extreme caution is absolutely essential. Stick to main roads and well-lit areas, and use only trusted transportation services. It's essential to exercise caution when dealing with unfamiliar individuals and to verify the legitimacy of services and transactions. Avoiding political rallies or gatherings and traveling with a guide or in a group when exploring unfamiliar areas can help minimize risks. Number 8. Pakistan. Pakistan, a country rich in history and cultural diversity, with a population of over 225 million people. Pakistan has long grappled with political instability, sectarian violence, and a troubling terrorist threat, making it one of the more dangerous countries to reside in globally. With a terrorism index score of 8.3 out of 10, Pakistan faces an extremely high risk of attacks from militant groups like the Taliban and Al-Qaeda. Bombings, shootings, and kidnappings are all too common. Beyond the threat of terrorism, violent crime is also a major concern in many parts of the country. The murder rate stands at around 7.8 per 100,000 people, with armed robberies, carjackings, and extortion schemes being widespread, especially in urban centers. The tribal regions along the Afghan border are particularly lawless and dangerous. If you're considering a move to Pakistan, hire trusted private security if possible, and keep a close eye on the evolving political and security situation. With the right preparation, it may be possible to live safely in certain parts of Pakistan, but the country's reputation for danger is well earned. Number 7. Kenya. Kenya, a country known for its breathtaking wildlife, stunning landscapes, and vibrant culture, with a population of over 54 million people. Kenya, located in East Africa, is home to iconic destinations such as the Masai Mara National Reserve and Mount Kenya. However, alongside its natural beauty, Kenya does face safety concerns. Violent crime is a significant issue, particularly in the larger cities like Nairobi and Mombasa. Robberies, carjackings, and even kidnappings are not uncommon, often targeting both locals and foreign visitors. The presence of organized criminal gangs and terrorist groups like Al-Shabaab in some regions, certain areas near the slums of Nairobi and the Somali border, are considered especially high risk due to the threat of militant attacks. To live safely in Kenya, it's essential to take precautions, such as avoiding displaying valuables in public, using reputable transportation options, and staying in secure accommodations. Being vigilant and aware of your surroundings, especially in crowded or unfamiliar areas, can also help minimize risks. Number 6. United Kingdom. The United Kingdom, a country that is generally considered quite safe, but has had its fair share of challenges in recent years. Increase in the population of Muslims in the country might be one of them. Well, the overall murder rate stands at around 1.2 per 100,000 people, which is relatively low compared to many other nations. But one of the primary safety concerns in the UK is related to crime, particularly in urban areas such as London, Manchester, and Birmingham. Certain areas may experience higher levels of offenses, such as mugging, assaults, and drug-related crimes. Terrorist threats from groups like ISIS have also raised security concerns in the UK in recent times. To ensure your safety in the UK, it's essential to take certain precautions. Be mindful of your surroundings, especially in crowded or poorly lit areas. Avoid carrying expensive items outside, and exercise caution when using public transport. If you're traveling alone, seek out well-lit and populated areas. Whenever possible, try to have company with you as an added safety measure. Number 5. Mexico. Mexico, located in North America, offers a diverse tapestry of experiences, from the ancient ruins of Chichen Itza to the pristine beaches of Cancun. However, alongside its allure, Mexico does face safety concerns that residents and visitors should be aware of. One of the primary safety concerns in Mexico is related to crime, particularly in certain areas known for drug-related violence and organized crime, such as Tijuana, Acapulco, and regions along the US-Mexico border. The ongoing drug cartel violence has been a major source of concern, with various factions vying for control of lucrative trafficking routes. This has led to a surge in kidnappings, murders, and other violent crimes, particularly in border areas and certain states. The government has taken steps to combat the cartels, but progress has been slow and uneven. Bribery, extortion, and abuse of power are all too common, further exacerbating the country's security challenges. To live safely in Mexico, it's crucial to take precautions, such as avoiding traveling alone at night, particularly in dimly lit or isolated areas. Using reputable transportation options and staying in secure accommodations can also help minimize risks. Additionally, staying informed about local safety advisories and heeding the advice of authorities can further enhance safety. Number 4. Russia. Population exceeding 145 million. Russia, a country of vast landscapes, rich history, and cultural marvels. However, when it comes to safety and security, Russia has faced its fair share of challenges in recent years. With a murder rate of around 6 per 100,000 people, there are still significant safety concerns in certain regions and situations. The political instability and authoritarian nature of the Russian government, coupled with rampant corruption, have contributed to the growth of organized crime groups. Violent crimes like assault, robbery, and even contract killings are not uncommon, especially in major cities like Moscow and St. Petersburg. Foreigners can be targeted for their perceived wealth and status. Additionally, the ongoing geopolitical tensions between Russia and the West have raised the threat of terrorism, with attacks by groups like ISIS and Chechen separatists occurring periodically. Certain border regions and conflict zones in the North Caucasus are considered particularly high risk. Living safely in Russia involves taking several precautions. Always be aware of your surroundings, especially in crowded areas. Avoid displaying valuables openly. Use trusted transportation services. Learn basic Russian for communication. Follow local news for any security updates. Building relationships with locals can also provide valuable insights and support. Number 3. Turkey. Turkey, a country bridging Europe and Asia, renowned for its rich history, vibrant culture, and a population exceeding 83 million people. As of 2024, Turkey has seen a 400% rise in crimes. Violent crime like armed robberies, assaults, and kidnappings are not uncommon, especially in major cities like Istanbul and Ankara. Beyond the threat of general criminal activity, Turkey has also grappled with a persistent terrorist threat from groups like the Kurdistan Workers' Party, PKK, and ISIS. Bombings, shootings, and other attacks have occurred periodically, putting both Turkish citizens and foreign visitors at risk. Travelers should also exercise caution when exploring certain regions of Turkey, particularly those near the Syrian border, where there have been incidents of unrest. To live safely in Turkey, maintain situational awareness, especially in crowded places. Learn basic Turkish for better communication and understanding. Respect local customs and avoid discussing sensitive topics. Number 2. South Africa. Population exceeding 59 million people. South Africa, known for its breathtaking landscapes and rich cultural heritage, is unfortunately plagued by significant safety concerns. With over 58 murders per 100,000 people, South Africa has one of the highest homicide rates in the world. Violent crimes like carjackings, muggings, and home invasions are shockingly common, even in broad daylight. The disparities and instability left over from the apartheid era have fueled much of this criminal activity, which is particularly prevalent in the country's biggest cities like Johannesburg and Cape Town. Poverty, gang violence, and police corruption all contributed to the lawlessness that plagues many South African communities. Stick to main roads and well-lit areas, and consider hiring private security if possible. Building a strong support network and staying connected with local communities can also provide added security and peace of mind. With the right safety measures, it is possible to live comfortably in parts of South Africa, but the country's reputation for danger is certainly warranted, so it's a risk many may not be willing to take. Number 1. USA. While the United States is generally considered a developed first world nation, it unfortunately has a reputation for higher than average crime rates that prospective residents should carefully consider. The USA offers a wealth of opportunities and experiences, but it also faces safety concerns that residents and visitors should be aware of. One of the primary concerns in the US is the prevalence of gun-related violence, particularly in some urban areas. Mass shootings, gang activity, and firearm-related crimes have been a persistent problem, leaving many residents feeling uneasy. Certain neighborhoods in major cities like Chicago, Detroit, and St. Louis are known as high-crime areas that even locals tend to avoid. Tourists and foreigners can also be targets for theft and other opportunistic crimes. Additionally, the U.S. has grappled with issues related to racial inequalities, police brutality, and the erosion of trust in law enforcement. These challenges have further exacerbated the safety concerns for certain communities and demographic groups. Living safely in the USA involves basic precautions. Lock your doors and windows, be aware of your surroundings, avoid dangerous areas at night, and trust your instincts. Stay informed about local news and follow guidelines from authorities. Building relationships with neighbors fosters community safety. So, what are your thoughts on this list? Do you have any other countries you would add? Be sure to let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more informative videos on important global issues like this one. Your safety and well-being should always be the top priority.